I kind of hope I can mess with the settings before too long because I need to fix the sound balancing a little bit. Try optimal, suboptima. Hey, not quite what I wanted, but suboptima it is. Dude, I haven't been through the character creation menu in a hot minute. Sure, we'll go with that. Hello, everyone. Welcome to Suboptima, my brand new account here on OSRS. I was doing a lot of watching of some other creators' content around this game, and just like with my other series that I don't know if it's going to be going up with this or after this, starting at least, this account was inspired by those. Because this is my new account. Her name is Suboptima, and she is a free-to-play player because I don't want to pay for this because I don't know if it's going to be successful. But through watching a lot of the content of some other much bigger YouTube RuneScape creators, I sort of found myself falling back in love with the game and falling in love with the idea that you could just kind of do whatever the hell you want. Make your own goals. And the goal of this account is going to be described once I get to the mainland, so I guess I will see you guys in a little bit once I finish Tutorial Island. I don't want to... Okay, so before we even get to the mainland, I need to talk to you guys about Iron Man. I'm not doing it. As much as it makes sense to do it, for what I'm planning on doing, I do eventually want to have access to the player economy, so I'm not doing the Iron Man nonsense. None of that stuff. Friends, so we finished with Tutorial Island. So now I have to answer the questions, why am I doing this series? Well, I'll let you know while we're walking to get the first quest that we can. I have wanted for a long time to sort of do my own kind of thing with questing when it comes to my own take on restricted accounts. And big lag spike there. And I figured a little bit of a fun way would be to just follow through the optimal quest guide at first and see like what that experience is like. However, as I meditated on it and watched more and more content from other creators, I kind of found myself falling in love with the idea of restricting myself some way. So I came up with the idea for this series where the goal is I am only really allowed to do quests, and also I'm only allowed to do skills that I have unlocked to a certain extent. Now, what does that mean? Well, I'm going to real quick bang out Cook's Assistant because you don't have to do anything fancy for it. You can literally just talk to this man's and get it. There is an egg right there. Oops. I'm a big dumb. That. I want to let you guys know the reason we're not making this an Iron Man is because I'm not allowing myself access to the Grand Exchange until a certain point, which will be described momentarily in a little bit. I don't have like hard goals or anything. I'll probably come up with them between this and the next episode. But the Grand Exchange is not available to me. Alright, yeah, I won't be holding my breath. What a prick this guy is. Alright, so everyone, you can see on this screen right here, it's probably kind of hard to see. I'll zoom in if I need to. If you see this right here, it says 300 cooking XP. Well, at the start of this account, I decided, or before this account was created, I decided that I am not going to be allowed to train or utilize any skill unless I have unlocked it via a quest. Now what that means is like if the quest rewards experience in a skill, that will permanently unlock the quest. So for completing Cook's Assistant, we now have access to cooking. I'm also limiting myself to not being allowed, in most cases, to do training methods for those skills unless, again, I have unlocked it via a quest or by another method that I will be getting into slightly later. One of the secret bonuses of Cook's Assistant is that you can use the Lumbridge Cook's range, I believe. Or I'm counting it that way because that used to be like one of the big things about it, because the Lumbridge Cook's range is, in fact, better because it has a lower chance to burn things. Now, I'm also restricting myself from the Grand Exchange, so I can't power level any of these skills. I want as much experience to come naturally as possible from actually having to train these skills. I meant to click up, god damn it. But I am allowing myself access to a bank account, and eventually I will be allowing myself access to the Grand Exchange. That will come way further down the line, but it will eventually come. So what does this mean? Well, I am not allowed to use anything that I got from Tutorial Island right now. Not a single thing is going to be available to me to use in my training. The only thing that I'm allowed to use are quests and what I can acquire through other associated skills. That means I cannot train any combat skill until I have unlocked the skill by getting a quest reward of experience for it. That's going to be very restrictive on this account. Going to create a lot of restrictions on this account, so this is going to be a long ongoing process. You'll also notice, you might be asking yourself, well, why aren't you a member? You have all these other skills that you could unlock and it would make your life way easier. And then you could actually use the optimal quest guide for getting access to a lot of these combat skills so that I can actually be training them and getting rewards and drops and bonuses from them. Well, I decided that the first quote-unquote season, if I even get that far, I figured it would be best to make the first season quote-unquote goal to be something pretty substantial for the account. So the account's 2 goals for the first season are to escape from free-to-play, quote-unquote, by acquiring a bond on the Grand Exchange. This will be the only time I'm allowed to use the Grand Exchange during this point of the series. I will not be able to unlock the Grand Exchange until, I'm going to say right now, probably about 120 quest points. Purely because I want to set myself a high but not unreasonable goal for this account. The second requirement that I'm going to stipulate is that I need to complete all free-to-play quests. So even if I get the bond early on from the Grand Exchange, I am not going to be using it until I have completed Dragon Slayer, which ultimately is going to be the last quest that I do on this account during free-to-play. Alright, and that sheep's shear started. This will unlock... Oh, we got shears. I didn't even need to bring the money. Okay, cool. Okay. So it actually literally tells me that I have to use that good. So sheep shear will unlock for us both the crafting skill and the Lumbridge spinning wheel. Both of which will be helpful later on, but I will not have access to. I will not have access to most of the good high-level things that I can get through crafting in that way. Now, I do also want to touch on something else. At certain milestones, that's a ram. Oops, oh my god, fucking shit. I wasn't supposed to do that. So yeah, I'm not, so just so you understand, my dear viewers, I'm not allowed to attack anything, and I really screwed up there. So I got experience before I was supposed to, so this count technically is invalid, but I'm just going to keep going with it because it's not interesting if I don't. As I was saying, at certain quest point values, I'm thinking maybe every 10, 25 or so, I will allow myself to access a new skilling area, so a new general location where I can train skills within its boundaries using resources that are available in, you know, if it's, let's say, Catherby, I can if I've unlocked fishing, I can fish there. If I've unlocked cooking, I can use the range there. If I've unlocked farming, I can use the farm there. All of those things. And it will be general locations like that. I might actually set the value a little bit higher because, or I might scale it differently, because I don't honestly think putting it at 25 quest points is actually going to be reasonable. I'll probably slap it up on screen later once I actually figure out like how many quest points I can possibly get and how long it'll take me to get them. But yeah. So there is one other thing that I need to touch on. and it's X marks the spot. X marks the spot gives as one of its rewards an experience lamp, and that is not the only quest that does that. It's just the only free-to-play one, I believe, that gives a reward that is not specifically geared towards one skill. So for that, I am going to allow myself for that quest and that quest alone, I'm going to allow myself to use that lamp to unlock any one skill that I want out of the free-to-play set. Later on, we will see what exactly actually looks like a new player. This guy isn't actually like running around like a fucking bot or anything. Corey Mallory. So I will be allowing myself to unlock any skill with that. The only skill that I'm not going to allow myself to use it on, depending on the order of how I complete these things, is on rune crafting, because rune crafting is explicitly unlocked by another quest. And frankly, putting a skill lamp into that when I could unlock any of these other skills, it just seems kind of ridiculous to me to not be Alright. And okay, the one other thing that I briefly touched on before is I'm not allowing myself to use the Grand Exchange, partially because that's an easy way to buy skills and get your level up really easily with a lot of skills. I'm not allowing myself that until a higher quest point value, except for the bond purchase. But I am not going to lock myself completely out of the economy. The reason I didn't want to do an Iron Man is because I wanted to make sure that I had unlocked. I could eventually unlock or get access to the Grand Exchange in some way. And having an Iron Man account would just make that way more difficult than it needs to be. So that's why we're not doing that. I also like just giving myself sort of a soft Iron Man experience without actually locking myself into it, because then I can kind of back my way back out of it if I decide that I need to. Alright, and that unlocks crafting, and the skilling things that we can do for crafting are limited to the spinning wheel that it specifically told me to use in Lumbridge Castle, and spinning wall. Anything else I have to unlock in a different way, unfortunately, including tanning cowhides. Let's see. Let me see what else we can do here this episode. Ernest the Chicken might be the most useless quest for this, because all it gives you is coins. It doesn't give you any experience rewards or anything. Goblin Diplomacy and Imp Catcher would both be pretty damn good. And X marks the spot will be useful. Also, when I get a reward drop like that, I have to use it on a skill immediately. I'm not allowed to just sit on it and wait so I can unlock. I can put it straight into rune crafting later, or agility once we escape from free to play and see at the end of the season. I'm gonna force myself to put the experience reward into a quest. Also, by the way, buying skills from the GE means I can also buy the beads for Imp Catcher. I'm gonna claim that Goblin Diplomacy and Imp Catcher both reward me with one combat skill besides hit points. Hit points is sort of a weird one, where because it gets experience while you train other combat skills, except for prayer, it kind of just comes packaged with the rest of them. So I think that's just how I'm going to claim these two. I think we go to X marks the spot and maybe start Restless Ghost, because Restless Ghost will unlock us prayer, and prayer will definitely be a big help, especially getting that up to level, I think, 9 prayer. That's how high the experience will get you. I think it's just below level 10. Because for HP, you literally get the bare minimum amount. I'm going to be honest, I'm not expecting to get a bond anytime soon. Because I'm limiting myself so significantly, it's going to be real difficult to get a bond, and I might have to break some rules or adjust some rules. Quest.